Welcome back to our next video in the Pop-Up PD series, 5-Minute Mastermind. I'm Susan Riley, your facilitator, and today we're going to be talking about arts integration standards. Yes, there are standards for arts integration specialists. Many people call themselves arts integration specialists, but unless they can actually meet all 8 of these standards and go through the certification process, they're not certified arts integration specialists, and that makes a difference to a lot of people. I know a lot of admins who will ask and to see that certification paper or to use this set of standards to see if the arts integration specialist is actually a quality specialist. So let's take a look at what these 8 standards are and how they look in the certification program. So in these 8 standards, we have knowledge of arts processes and knowledge of curriculum standards. So this is part 1 and part 2, standard 1 and 2. And in these areas, we're really taking a look at, do you know the processes behind each of the arts areas? Can you take a look at the music processes and the visual arts processes and the theater processes and look at maybe aligning content using those specific processes in those arts areas? Similarly, in Standard 2, we're looking at curriculum standards. So once you know the processes behind the arts, can you now take a look at their standards and align those to content standards where it makes sense, right? Now, in our certification program, we actually take a long time in Sprint 1 to go over the arts processes as well as curricular standards, so that even if you're not familiar with them or not familiar with all of them, you have the ability as a specialist to then deep dive into those. This gives you an opportunity to do that, as well as to learn how to align those standards well. We call it aligning with a right and tight attitude, so that making sure that those standards connections really work well together. Standard 3 is to provide equitable learning opportunities for students. So how are you going to create an arts integrated lesson from a place that is equitable to everyone? Are we looking at all of the students' access points? Are we looking at how the alignments to standards are also connected to assessments? And so we're going to teach you how to do that. That also happens in Sprint 2, I'm sorry. Then we're looking at implementing assessment practices across content areas. You got to know how to assess an arts integration lesson, right? Not only that, you have to know how to assess both content and art standards, and you need to know the difference between assessment and evaluation in order to be successful at this process. And so we teach you all of that in Sprint 2 when we take a look at lessons and assessments. Standard 5 is in leading educators. So when we're looking at this, we're looking at, can you lead teachers in understanding things like arts integration strategies, standards alignments, partnerships with others, lesson delivery, assessment. You've got to be able to lead teachers into learning how to do all of that. And part of that is through professional development, which is Standard 6. So can you deliver professional development that is meaningful and relevant and exciting, that keeps teachers engaged? We're looking for both of those, and that happens in Sprint number 3. And then we look at implementing an arts integration philosophy. So knowing what that philosophy is, knowing how to take the method and really build upon that in your own way, and having your own philosophy for arts integration implementation, as well as reflecting as an educator and putting that reflection intentionally into practice, so that you're revising and continuing to be the best educator you can be. We cover both of those in Sprint 4. So by the time you're done with the certification program, you will have gone through each of the standards, and not only will you have gone through them, you will have mastered them, because in your portfolio, we're going to go through each of those as a checklist to make sure that you are highly qualified as an arts integration specialist. Now, if you're interested in applying, and if this is helpful for you and you're like, yes, that's me, I want to take that next step, go ahead over to artsintegration.com/certification, click the apply button. Remember, you don't owe any money other than the application fee for when you apply. And that fee is again transferred over to your tuition should you be accepted. So it's really, there's no risk here. We want to make sure that if you're interested in arts integration and certification, that you have the opportunity to do so. Now, Don't forget about our prize drawing. That means that you're going to have to participate. So we want to hear your questions or your aha moments from this video or one of the previous ones so that you can be entered into that drawing for one of our Pop-Up PD Day prizes. All right, I'll see you next time for our last video.